If you think you are good enough to earn God's love or you're too far gone to deserve it, then today's message is for you because grace dismisses both of those lies. The after message starts right now. Welcome, everybody, back to the after message where Sunday sermon might start the conversation, but it certainly does not end it. Today, we're talking about Pastor Pierce's sermon, which was entitled The Case for Grace, walking us through the book of Ephesians, chapter 2, verses 1 to 10. This message walked us through the court case in Genesis all the way to what Paul had to say about it to remind us that grace doesn't just improve the old you, it makes you brand new. Gentlemen, how are we doing today?
Pretty good. Pretty good.
So you were preaching at a different church this week.
Yeah, I was out.
The Key.
The Key Church. Fort Worth.
Fort Worth.
Dr. Damon Halliday. Bless you, man.
It was a nice drive.
It was a nice drive.
But nobody goes to Fort Worth, so it's a nice drive to see nobody. To see nobody.
That was a dig.
And then standing in your place was you, Pastor Pierce. Introduce yourself because people
I am
who you are.
Pastor Harold Pierce Jr., students and young adults.
That means that you're
Was he
next.
finished?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were still saying something.
Yeah, I thought it was just a
Do I let the
introduction.
camera look at you?
No,
I'm
you-
Stephen
here you can look at the
Brown.
camera.
Hello, lead pastor of the Great Life Church. Good to have you today.
And I'm Ivan, the Spanish pastor and social media pastor. I'm also known as the avocado of the podcast.
I knew it was coming.
Yeah. Though I don't like avocados, it might be a racist thing, but that's what they call me.
I don't like it either.
You know, they call you the pomegranate of the podcast.
I'm not gonna be
Yeah.
sucked in.
And
I'm
then
still smart.
they call Pierce the peach of the podcast.
Oh man!
That's what they call
Oh,
it.
we gonna have a conversation
It's
after
not
this.
me. It's
What
not
are
me.
you reference to?
It's
What
the
what's the
people.
reference?
It's the people in the comments that are talking about.
I think
this
it's Pastor
stuff.
Ivan.
I need to see some screenshots
Yeah.
of these comments. I'm not believing it.
Well, hey,
man.
let's start off with just initial thoughts, and we'll start with you, HP. Just kind of share with us your heart on this particular message.
Man, this message came from a place of transparency and just wanting the people to know that there is no sin that can outdo God's grace, right? What grace does, it takes the guilty, it covers their shame, and God gives them purpose, mission, etc. for the world to see. And through us, we demonstrate how good God's grace is, how kind he's been. And the grace that we receive should be the same grace that we extend to others.
That's good.
That's good.
You watched this sermon back. What were your
Absolutely.
thoughts on the sermon?
It was a crystal clear message on the gospel. And I think any person that is confused about what the Lord has done for us through Jesus Christ, they need to watch this message. I'm going to be sharing with some folks that really need to just hear the essence of the gospel. And that's what it was. That, we're saved by grace through faith. No gifts. I mean, not no gifts, no works, nothing I can do to earn it. It's a grace gift.
Yeah.
Clear
Yeah,
message.
it's you. I was in the house to watch this particular sermon on Sunday, and you tapped into one of my favorite topics, one of my favorite truths about Scripture, and that is the importance of grace. The moment I heard that title, I was like, "Yeah, it's gonna be a good day.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a good sermon." So, hearing about grace, nothing you can work for. It's a free gift. It reminds me of a metaphor that I used years ago when I was really tapping into really understanding grace. The way that I grew up in my faith and the way I understood church was very not grace forward. Grace was the, stay away from it, don't touch it, don't break it, just. But as God took me through grace and the reality of it was coming to this realization that no matter how deep our hole gets, God's ladder is always bigger. And it was a great reminder of that.
good.
That is the power of grace. It is single-handedly the one word that can change everything. That's beautiful. So like you said, if you didn't get a chance to watch the sermon, make sure you go to our YouTube page, go to our Facebook page. We're going to share it again a couple times this week because it was that powerful of a word. But hey, let's dig into the particular sermon today, HP. Paul didn't start with good news. He started with the reality that we were not alive. We weren't sick. We weren't comatose. We were dead.
Yeah.
DEAD. We were absolutely dead. And in that, you made a big emphasis on these two very important things, which was sin and transgressions.
Yeah.
So, what is the difference between sin and transgressions, and why does Paul name both of them?
Yeah. So Paul names sin and trespasses, right?
Trespasses, yeah.
And so that word in the Greek paints this picture of this archer, right? As he's aiming to hit a mark, but he misses the mark. And that's what sin is. It points more towards failure, where trespasses point towards rebellion.
Wow.
We know the line, we see the signs, and we do it deliberately. We know the standard of God, and in our flesh, we disobey Him. We know the rules, we disregard them because our spiritual pulse is just not there, right? And so what Paul does is he mentions sin and trespasses to show the totality of where we really are spiritually. And so we need to know that it's beyond these accidental failures. Sometimes we do it because we want to do it, and it's and acknowledging these things, brings about humility, and it magnifies God's grace. God, you know what? I had some times in my life where, okay, I missed the mark.
Yep.
I failed. I dropped the ball. But there were some times where I knew the standard.
Yeah.
And I was so overwhelmed in whatever I was in, I did it anyway. Lord, forgive me. And then when we just sit in that posture and we experience the grace of God, at some point, that overwhelming feeling of God's grace, it should be expressed through us to others, because we've all been there.
Yeah. You said it. He said, sometimes we do things and we make mistakes.
Yeah.
But sometimes we do it because we want to do it.
Yeah.
And the way you said that right now, I was like, ooh.
It was. I got a chill just
It
hearing
did.
it. Yeah.
The reality of that, right? Is sometimes we just, well, no, I know it's wrong. I know I did it before. I know what it caused, but I want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's-
I think that also it helps to amplify our deadness.
Yep.
It amplifies our deadness. Some people think to add to what he's saying, sin is not just what we do; it's who we are. We are sinners, and that part of us, man, it's wicked.
Yeah.
And we try to sugarcoat it. We try to, partner with whatever culture in the world says about it. But all the Lord sees is deadness.
Yeah.
And I think that's the powerful reality of our faith, right? Is God is not in the business of making bad people good. God doesn't make good people great. God makes dead people alive.
Come on,
That's
Dad.
right.
Come
Like
on,
you
come
weren't
on.
sick.
Come on.
You weren't just, I'm barely making it. You were dead.
Yeah.
Dead in sins and dead in trespasses. And then those two words that change everything.
Come on.
But God.
But God.
Paul,
He started sweating then when he was preaching. I remember he had that towel and was sweating.
from death to life, here's that phrase, right? So I think it's a phrase that if you've preached enough, and it happened yesterday, right? The moment you say "but God," you have to stop, because the church is going to be like, that's always like a very reactionary phrase.
Yeah, man. And in that moment, I almost lost myself, because being an African American preacher, the call and response between congregation and preacher, they start saying, you think it's go time.
Yeah.
But the Lord was clear. Teach this message.
Yeah.
And that's what I tried to stay true to. But go ahead.
But God, that is, I'm with you. I can hear like
He had a
we could have
couple of runs
gone
with it
there,
too.
right?
Yeah,
PB, how has a but God moment changed your life or your perspective?
I think, coming up, everything was so performance based. And I used to try to perform for God and do for God. And I think I got to the point where I realized my performances fall miserably short. And that was a revelation in my pre-salvation state, and that was a revelation in my saved state, because some of that performance stuff just kind of, it follows along. And this scripture reminds me that regardless of what I think I'm doing, it's really God who is in control.
Yeah.
But God. Everything I think I'm bringing, it falls short, but God. And so God is the difference maker. He is the real performer.
That's right.
And I'm going along for the ride.
Yeah.
And it doesn't absolve me from prayer and preparation and study, but I ultimately know that it is God at work in me. And the
sir.
but God factor is what makes the difference for my wretchedness.
That's right.
Yeah, so
That's good.
but God, and it's something I think I'll always deal with, and again that performance stuff that I fall hostage to,
Yeah.
and that
We all do.
passage really helps me. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all do.
You went into the actions that have come from grace, right? Paul describes these actions. He made us alive, he raised us, and he seated us. I think
yeah. Oh, yeah.
that progression is so important because grace doesn't just patch us up. It's not just a Band-Aid. It places us in an entire new position. That's why he says that he's making us new, right? So, HP, if grace has changed our position, how should it change our posture every single day?
Well, grace changes posture from striving to surrender,
come on, dude.
right? And if we've been seated, if we've been made alive, if we've been risen with Christ, we don't have to live this life of shame anymore, right? Instead, we can walk confidently, knowing and serving others because we are secure in Him.
That's good.
And
That's
so it also means facing challenges with hope instead of despair, because our position has been settled in heaven. Yeah.
Yeah. Bonus question. Oh, you gonna say something?
I just
You go.
he just spoke to just what deliverance looks like.
Yeah.
And how our response to being delivered ought to be perceived in the world. Man, we have been made alive. We've been raised. We've been seated. We ought to demonstrate that, not just with appreciation, but man, everything about us should be transformed. So I just echoing what he said, man. Whew, that's good.
Bonus question.
Bonus question.
Of those three things, made alive, raised, and seated, which one do you think is the most challenging to accept as a free gift?
Man, I just think the fact that you are alive in Christ is
made
probably the most difficult, because when it comes to grace, we think we're not good enough to be made alive.
Yeah.
But that's what grace is. Like
Sure,
it's a gift, and many of us don't really understand it fully. But this made alive thing, it points towards what the Old Testament kind of points, like this quickened. You've been quickened, and that word stems from this reanimation.
Ooh, I like that.
You think about Frankenstein, how he's laying on the table, then all of a sudden, he's risen. Or when you're dead, and then they have to, what you call those things? The
Paddles.
resuscitation.
Clear. Clear.
Yeah. So that's what God literally has done to us. We don't fully understand it, but that's why we just accept it by faith.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good.
And so,
Which of those do you think is the most
He took mine. I was gonna say
challenging? He
made
took it.
alive.
Well, now you
but
can't say it.
I'll add another. Seated with Christ. And
Now he took mine.
yeah, well, I had
Yeah.
to. You know, the
next.
the intimacy, the proximity we have with Christ as a
Yeah.
result of His grace gift.
Yeah.
Man, that's just wonderful to know.
Yeah.
I am a fellow heir with the Lord. That's grace. That's what grace
that's
is.
great, yeah.
I don't deserve it. I can't earn it.
Yeah.
And He freely gives it. That's just. That makes you want to dance and shout and really praise the Lord. But ultimately, it makes you want to live a life that honors Him.
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to understand that the seated part, in the sense of you can stop trying to work for it. You can stop trying
Amen.
to earn it. You can
Amen.
stop trying to. And a big one for me recently has been, you can stop trying to understand it. And in the sense of, we live in a world where you need to understand everything. Everything needs to be explainable. Everything. I need to be able to understand things and be able to see them and chart it and make it make sense. And I have learned in my years of life, of ministry, of pastoring, grace is one of those things that I don't think you're ever going to fully understand
Fully
it.
understand
And then for those people that are like, you know what, I think I understand it. I don't know if you do.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, I think grace is one of those things where I can boldly say, if you think you understand it, that's not grace. You
That's not
understood
grace.
something else. Maybe it's like
Yes,
maybe it's like a
yes.
derivative of it. It's simple.
Yeah.
But there are certain, like, it's one of the things that you're just not going to understand.
And
It-
then
go ahead.
the text is clear. It says God's immeasurable.
Yes.
Riches.
And we're trying to measure it.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're trying to make it so palatable so
Yeah.
and we'll try to find a human equivalent. And all we
Yeah.
can do is throw some illustrations
Yeah.
at it, but we can never fully exhaust it because it's inexhaustible. We will never fully get it. That's a good point, bro. Look at you. Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. The beauty
Yeah,
of grace.
yeah.
Grace is just an amazing topic.
Yeah.
So we go from the actions of grace, and then you talk about the purpose of grace, how it displays God's glory. Right? Grace isn't just for us; it's to display something greater here at the Greater Life Church. No big deal. So PB, what are some practical ways that we can display those immeasurable riches of God's grace in a culture that seems to want to really resist that?
One of the parts of this that Pastor Pierce just broke me, and part of it deals with the way we extend grace towards others. That can be in forgiveness, restored relationship, reconciliation, and I think that's one of the biggest ones. If God has forgiven me, I didn't deserve it. Why are we so hesitant to forgive others when they don't deserve it? And it's an easy correlation. I just give what you've received.
Yep.
And I think that is I think that would go a long way if believers would get that. If we would
give
if
what you
some of our
receive.
relationships would begin to be restored, and I got too many of them, but it is what it is. But it would be that would be a good demonstration. And that's something that's the greatest conviction that I'm taking away from this message. How am I displaying grace to others? How am I doing that in my daily life? And I got to work on that. Yeah. Absolutely.
It's the easiest reality that we struggle with giving grace.
Giving
right?
grace,
I've always said that when we are quick to run to grace when we mess up with God.
Yeah.
But when somebody offends us, we jump past grace to justice. What's
Yes, sir.
demanded is justice, righteousness.
sir.
What's right?
Yeah.
And it's like just step back and treat people the way God treats you. That's hard.
Man, you said it, and it slapped me. You slapped me just now. That was a slap.
It's hard because why do you think that's hard? Do you think it makes us feel
I know why it's
weak?
hard.
Okay.
I think we are so filled with pride, and I think our pride, I'm testifying, my pride runs interference with the display of God's grace towards others. And I feel that my wounds are greater than Jesus' wounds. My pain is greater than Jesus' pain. What they did to me is greater than what they did to Christ. That's all pride. That's me. And I justify my lack of dispensing grace because my pain is greater than what happened to Lord Jesus Christ. And that's idolatry. That's all. That's pride. That's everything rolled into that. Yeah, man. That's your message slapped me, bro. That was a good one. Yeah,
Man.
Yeah.
So Paul closes the case, right? Open and shut case, Johnson. That's from a skit. What skit is that from? I don't know why that came into my brain. It's opening.
We didn't rehearse that one.
case,
That was a new one.
Johnson. It's good, right? But Paul closes the case, right, where salvation is by grace.
Yeah.
Through faith, the important one, not of works.
Works.
So HP finishes off here with, why do so many believers still struggle with thinking they have to work for grace instead of working from grace?
Well, I think if we trace our lives, right, culture has always rewarded hard work,
Yep.
right? If you work overtime, you get paid more. You've been at a company for so many years, maybe you'll get a bonus or a promotion. So we are embedded in this culture that says if you work harder and do better, you deserve a reward, right? And so that mentality leaks over into our faith. Yeah. And what we do is we begin to place humanity on the same level as divinity, and we treat God's standard as equal to man's standard, but that's not the case. Paul is very clear. We are his workmanship, right? And so that workmanship speaks to what God does in us and what He produces. And so we don't work for salvation, we work from it, right? And so the works that we do are a result from the salvation.
That's good.
And so we just have to the work is not bad. It's for a good reason.
Yep.
And so but we just have to shift our thinking and our hearts to say, hey, you know what? I'm not performing. I'm not trying to please the pastor. I'm not trying to earn cool points. You know, I've been saved. I've been sealed. I'm doing this because I'm called to it. And this was God's plan even before I was born.
Yeah.
And so when we think like that, everything else just kind of fades out. And the Bible is clear. Whatever you do it for the glory of God.
Yes.
Whether you're sweeping the floor, taking out trash, preaching the gospel, making up your bed, whatever you're doing, it's for the glory of God. And so we just have to keep this message at the forefront of people. Like, there's nothing you can do to grow more in favor of God. He's given it to you. There's nothing more attached to it. He did it because he did it because He's good, not because you've been so good.
Yeah.
We have to look at it. He loves even me, not because of me, right? And yeah, man, I'm just kind of.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
You remember? I don't know if you do watch horse racing.
I've seen
I
a
don't
couple.
But you know they have that carrot, or they have like a thing that the horses are chasing the whole time. That's what
Yeah,
gets them
like
to run.
like little rabbit thing.
Yeah, and that's what they're chasing the whole time, right?
Okay.
Do you think that's what many Christians treat grace as? Like
Ooh.
grace is that rabbit that they're chasing, they're working for.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think other faith traditions have a tendency to bleed into ours, and most other faith traditions have a performance-based element
that's so
attached to
good.
them,
Yeah, that's so
attached to them, and so I think a lot of that has just bled into our faith.
Yeah.
And I remember preaching this text a while ago, and one of the commentators says, Christianity. Let me see if I get this right. Other faith traditions say do. Christianity says done. Yeah, that's an old quote, but it's just so it speaks to, we've been programmed, as Pastor Spear said, to do. And I gotta earn God's love. I gotta earn His grace. I gotta earn my salvation. I gotta do. But the Lord said, no, done. All the heavy lifting has been done. Our only posture is to receive what's been done and give Him glory for it.
And life is so much. Life as a Jesus follower is so much more joyful
Sure.
if grace is back there
Wow.
instead of up there.
Wow.
Like if you can live from grace happened already.
Yeah.
Salvation happened. I'm not. It's just so much more. You're slower. You're not in a rush. You're not trying to fight, defend. You're not trying to do you're like, okay, that's taken care of. Like that lifestyle is so much more comfortable. You ever seen? You ever try to keep a beach ball underwater
Keeps popping
in the
up.
pool? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's what it's like when
Yeah.
grace is up there. You're trying to make it. All the you're walking on eggshells. All these imagery of because we think grace still needs to be earned. And it's just not. So, man, it was a great reminder to our church. Great reminder to anybody who was watching. We even had the Skyline football team
Skyline
was here
Shout
to
out
be able to
Skyline.
remind
Coach Garrett. Yeah.
to remind young people that there is a gift
Yes.
that is free.
Yeah.
You don't have to open it. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to deserve it. It's free. And I think that's why Jesus gives that comparison to a child, right?
Sure.
Because, and this is the last thing I'm going to give here because it's my favorite example. Christmas is my favorite time of year, not just because my birthday is close to it. That's not the only reason why. But Christmas morning to me is the perfect picture of grace.
Okay.
You remember whenever you would wrap up, all of our kids are older now, right? But when your kids were younger and you get them a gift and they open it, right? And it's what they always wanted. And what do they immediately do? I don't know. They start playing with the gift.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Did you ever have a kid put their gift down and be like, "Oh my God, Dad, this is the most amazing gift ever. I don't deserve it. I'll tell you what, I'm going to clean my room every day to earn this amazing gift that you gave me. I don't know about your kids. My kids don't think about me. It's just the gift and playing with it, right? And I think that's why Jesus says, be like a child on Christmas morning. Open up this grace that I wrapped up for you,
Yes, Lord.
that I
Yes,
bought
Lord.
for you
Yes,
with
Lord.
my money, and enjoy it.
Yeah.
Don't be like, oh, I got to put it down. I have to make sure I can. No, kids rip it up, and within 2 weeks, it's like they're enjoying it, right? That's grace. Enjoy. If you get anything out of
Enjoy
today,
the gift.
enjoy the gift. Don't put it behind this special cabinet where it's not fragile.
Right.
Grace is amazing.
Not fragile. Yeah.
I went on a tangent there.
That was a good tangent,
I
wasn't it?
apologize.
Yes, that was a great
But
tangent.
hey, thank you guys so much for joining us this week for our episode of the Ask Message. Thank you again, Pastor Pierce, for
Great
the
word.
case
For
for
grace.
grace. And
Great
it
word.
rhymed. Was that intentional to rhyme
Yeah,
it?
yeah. Because I had this idea of just this courtroom scene, and that's just how I wanted it to flow. And by the grace of God, that it was.
No pun intended. No pun intended. By the
able.
grace of
Case
God.
for grace.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
And I'm not sure if y'all caught this,
Uh-oh.
but in the opening scenes, that was a court scene of God, giving consequences, saying we're guilty. But at the end, there was an appeal.
You brought us back to the.
Yeah, I brought you back to
you
the
brought us
courtroom.
back to the courtroom.
Brought
yeah.
us back to the
I was
courtroom.
there, Doc.
And our defense attorney,
Jesus Christ.
Jesus
Yes, sir.
Christ. He showed up.
My,
and
my wounds serve as evidence. What's the new verdict?
not
guilty.
guilty.
Boy,
Not
boy, boy, boy.
guilty, man. Well, hey, if this was an encouragement to you, make sure you like the post, you like the video, drop a comment in there. Tell us what your favorite fruit is, right? We've each been assigned a fruit by you in the comments.
I'm not a peach.
So-
Do not call me a peach at church.
What was
Do not.
mine?
You was a pomegranate.
Pomegranate.
I didn't know what that is.
You know what
Those little bitty
pomegranates
seeds, the
are?
little red, little,
The
little
red
red
ones that
little
you,
seeds.
You have to hit the seed. They're little tiny seeds. They're great for texture on a. You can finish off a dish with it.
And they're
Still
sweet.
And they're sweet because you're sweet. And you're also sweet.
All right.
I'm not a
And
peach.
I'm an
That's
avocado
enough.
because I'm
That's
Latino.
enough.
But even though I don't like avocados. But they do have to be from Mexico. Avocados from Mexico are the only ones that you can eat. But yeah, make sure you like, share this with somebody as well. And we'll see you guys next week, right? Don't forget that what grace does is it takes the guilty, it covers their shame, and it changes our position forever. Love you guys. We will see you next week when Pastor Brown is back. No. It's anniversary week.
Yeah.
Next week, we're going to talk about a special sermon that's going to be brought to you by Pastor Brian Carter of Concord Church. Yes,
sir.
So we'll get to talk about that amazing message as we celebrate 93. What was I thinking? 94. 93.
93 years.
93 years. It's going to be an amazing week. We'll talk about an amazing sermon next week. So.